Well, good morning everybody. I am super excited. Welcome back to my little channel. Really pleased to have you here with me. So, what's going on? It's autumn. Autumn's really here. It's kind of been arriving for a long time. It's been a very strange autumn. Very spread out, very long. And still got a lot of green on the trees, but equally there is a lot of gold colour about now as well, and I've been waiting for that for weeks. I've also been waiting for a chance to just get out with my camera. But I've been driving here this morning with a great big grin on my face because this morning we have mist, and I'm in an autumn woodland with mist. At least we have it at the moment. We've had it on the way here. Patches of fog, patches of mist. And you probably see on my breath that my breath is just condensing as I speak, and this is all a good sign for some separation of the trees as I delve into the woodland to take some pictures. So who knows? I feel a little bit like a kid in a candy shop who's allowed just one thing to choose and just can't choose between them. There's just lots of different sites here that I've been to before that I kind of want to try in these sort of conditions, and I'm going to head actually to somewhere I haven't tried before, but I've seen and thought a number of times there's a photograph I'd like to make of that. And there's a large oak at the end of a path just where it exits the woodland by a gate, and it's a really large old ancient oak tree. And I've often thought, you know, I'd really like to take a picture of that when I've got the time. So that's where I'm headed at the moment in the New Forest. The other thing this morning is that I'm going to be trying out some new gear. I've taken the plunge into the realm of the mirrorless camera, and I have got hold for myself of a Nikon Z6 Mark II, and this is my first tryout of it, other than just testing it at home on ridiculous things that don't matter in my study. This is my first outing with it, so I'm really looking forward to just having a go. And I've also got with me some Z series lenses, and including, and this is the one I shall probably use the most this morning, including the 24 to 200 Z lens. I've seen a lot of good reports of it. It's not a pro level lens, it's not in their S line, but nevertheless it's a very versatile lens, and this is, I think, probably going to be my main sort of walkabout lens that I use when I'm kind of on holiday trips, that kind of stuff, or where I just don't want to carry a whole lot of stuff. So I'm going to crack on. It's still dark at the moment. We've probably got about 3/4 of an hour until dawn, and I'll catch up with you again shortly. So I really love the look of this tree, but it's much more difficult to photograph than it appears. And I mean, obviously a lot of the reason for that is the fact that there is so much open sky up here that's going to really mess around with the contrast. Now the sky's not too bright at the moment. It's only 5 minutes after dawn after all, so it's not that bright yet, and it's cloudy. But nevertheless, I don't really want all of that sky in the image, so I want to close it down to something more like this kind of a view, I think, a crop, and to keep these main, see if I can point it out, these main branches in the image there. And because they're nice and dark, they're damp from all the dew that there has been overnight, so they really stand out. And we've got, of course, a little bit of autumn colour in the leaves. What we haven't got is any of the mist around here. location is disappointingly free of it. There's a little bit in the open grasslands behind, you can kind of see there, but I was really hoping that we might get some separation for this tree. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my 50mm lens on. Right, there's something deeply frustrating that can about using new kit you're really not familiar with yet. Okay, I did make a decision before I came out not to bring the 50mm lens, so I can't do that. And dipped into my bag, expecting to bring it out, and then realised I decided not to, on the basis that just bringing this lens and the wide angle 20mm f1.8 would force me to really get to know this lens, and so that's what I'm going to have to do. So I'm going to stick with it and see what I can make of this tree with this lens. And I won't stick around here for too long because there is another scene along the road, along the track here, with a footbridge and a ford that might be quite nice actually, so I may give that a go in a minute. In the meantime, I'm going to just kind of widen the aperture as much as I can on this, try and find a balance between focal length and aperture. I did try the 20mm lens. Problem with the wide angle one is that even at a wide aperture, you don't get the level of separation from the background that you do with a longer focal length. But there you go. I shall do what I can, but I have to say I'm very impressed with sharpness so far. These things look pin sharp on the back of the camera, but I shall keep on plodding on. I'm also hoping that at some point the sun will actually make an appearance, and whatever wispy mist there is may produce some little sun rays through the trees. But at the moment it's looking much more cloudy than it was forecast to. We were forecast to have about 30% cloud, but at the moment it's pretty much 100% above me. I'm just hoping the sky will clear a bit and we'll get a little bit of colour. Let's see how it goes. So I'm really liking this particular angle here. So what wasn't obvious from the other angle was that there is this other little tree here on the left that's in front of the oak. So it's a new oak, and so it's like it's kind of little protege really, isn't it? Or its offspring, probably quite literally, as a little one that's grown up from an acorn that's fallen from this huge ancient tree. And so I quite like to get these two in a shot together. I like the level of separation, and also the way that these, we've got this sort of archway forming here from these leaves as they are changing colour. And it's just, it's like this little tree is sheltering under the eaves of the bigger, a larger tree. And so I'll do a close-in shot that doesn't include any of the sky, and then I'll do one with the sky as well, and I'll have to do a range of different exposures on that. I have to bracket the exposure just to make sure I don't blow out the highlights. So on we go. I do like this scene here with the footbridge and the ford, and the bend here that is coming round, leading into the bridge there. And I just take a little bit of a look around and a pause, see if there's something I can make of that. And then looking in the other direction, over there is just this beautiful carpet of autumn colour of all the leaves that have fallen, and then the odd sort of brighter golden flash of leaves that are still on the trees, haven't fallen yet, and dark, the dark branches and dark boughs from all the damp at the minute. So yeah, a little bit to look at here. This is a rather nice scene here, and so I've taken a shot in portrait mode. I don't do many in portrait mode, of this little group of trees on the bend here in the river, reflected in the water there, and there's a lovely symmetry about it in the reflection. So I make a nice little shot. I might try it in the landscape mode as well. It is such a shame that we do not have some mist here or some fog, because separating this here from the background would just be perfect. As it happens, I think with the limitations of the equipment I've got with me today, I just can't do it. I can't open up wide enough to throw the background fully out of focus. Oh, it's gone again, look. Let's just put it up. There we are, just to let you see what I'm looking at. I actually quite like this composition. I might just refine it a little bit, just to make sure I'm happy with all the edges, because I set it up in a bit of a hurry. But we'll take another little look at that, and if it's any good, I will pop it up on the screen for you. Okay, I'm on the camera's audio now. I haven't got a mic lead to plug into this one, so I hope their sound isn't too bad, but I just love this view. And I'm just going to try zooming in a little bit. Gorgeous. I'm just waiting for the wind to pick up again so that we can get some leaves fluttering down in the breeze. Right, well, thank you for making it that far through the video. Just a couple of quick updates before I disappear. There was another trip. I did make another trip out to the forest just to try out the Z6 Mark II with my old 70 to 200mm lens, particularly because I just wanted to see how good this was with an f2.8 zoom lens. And so unfortunately I had a bit of trouble with the lens on that occasion, so I'm going to redo that, and it was a bit of a wasted trip unfortunately due to technical problems. I think I've solved them now, so I'll do another separate video on that coming up. The other thing, a couple of other things, just quick updates. I'm actually investing in a second of these, the Z6 Mark II. I have been really impressed with it, and three reasons why I want to do that. One, I want to have two setups available when I go out and do an astro shoot. Second, I want to have one camera when I'm doing landscapes set up for wide, and one set up with a longer lens, so that I'm not constantly having to shift between them. I find that quite restrictive. And thirdly, particularly when I'm doing video in low light, this is going to give me so much better footage in terms of quality for low light imagery than my iPhone, which I'm currently recording on. So hopefully we'll have a step up in the quality of video, and I'm starting to use some bits of it recorded on the Z6 Mark II already. The other thing, two things to say. I may decide to keep the Nikon D750. I'm not sure. It's getting a bit confusing trying to keep different camera systems going. The only reason I might keep it, I might either convert it to infrared for more interesting daylight images on those sort of bright blue, cloudless, beautiful but boring sky days. That might be quite nice to try, or do an astro conversion on it, hydrogen alpha filter on it. That might be quite nice to try as well, although that does mean carrying loads more gear around. We'll see. And then finally, it's time, I'm afraid, and some of you will not like this because I know there's a bit of a cult following for this camera. It's time for the Sony RX10 Mark IV to go. I've had it a few years now. I've taken it lots of places with me. It's been a really good general use camera, but it is falling behind now in terms of the technology, its use in low light situations particularly. My photography is changing. I'm doing more night photography and light painting than I used to do. So it's time, I'm afraid, for it to go. So I have really enjoyed it. It's still a good camera. It's still a good camera. And it was a big investment at the time. It's still worth quite a bit of money, and it's going to help pay for all these other things that I've been investing in recently. So do watch out for though for a video upcoming in the next couple of weeks or so, where I'll be taking a look at some of my favourite images that I've taken with this camera, and it'll be a little bit of a celebration of the Sony RX10 Mark IV. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you all next time, and I'll leave you now with a little slideshow of my favourite autumn images from this year. Bye for now.